Sure, no problem.
All right, awesome. So, welcome to Trading Strategies. We're going to talk to Jim today, and you can find him on Twitter, as you would expect. And he is JJM Stocks. Jim, welcome.
Hey, what's up? How's it going?
It's going very well. So, we were just talking for a few minutes, but tell me a little bit more. Let's get from the beginning. How did you get started with trading with stocks? Let's start with that.
Well, I'm in the finance field in general, and so how I started trading was I wanted some supplemental income, and I started it in 2018, and I really liked. I didn't know what I was doing, just like anybody else. They want to get their feet wet and make tons of money, but I started trading by basically just looking at dividend stocks or uh, stocks that everyone knew about, like the tech stocks and whatnot. And when the climate was good, it was great. No one's complaining about it, right? And then as time went on after 2020, as we talked about before, 2021 it started getting a little bit more difficult, and then January 2022 you had to change up the way you're trading, so you couldn't do swing trades for a handful of weeks and hold it and get like these big gains of 20-25%. So as the tape got rougher, I started changing it. But to answer your question, I keep went off on a tangent. How did I get started with trading? I just wanted to, just like anybody else, wanted to try to learn how to make supplemental income.
So that
And
goes to the next question. You mentioned that you initially started out as a swing trader, couple of
yeah,
weeks, 3 weeks type of thing. That was your horizon. And now it seems as if because of the volatility and also the relentless nature of how much the stock market has gone down since 2022, we're now in March 23, you've
yeah.
changed strategy. So that brings up the question, is there something like a swing trader all the time or a day trader all the time or an investor all the time? It seems to me that everybody has to be smart enough to use different strategies depending on the market itself. And the market doesn't give you a chance to say set it and forget it unless you're looking at 30-year horizon or 20-year horizon.
Yeah, so like I think this kind of market adjustments are huge. Like you have to make adjustments. So like I think when I was swing trading, like you said, the stop losses for me were like 4 or 5%, and now they're more tighter at like the 1 or 2% range. And so that adjustment for me in 2022 was a bit difficult. Staying in all cash and using technical setups like more inside days or engulfing bullish candles, or just a regular, just looking at a chart and saying this is on an uptrend. It might, your odds are better on this kind of a stock that goes this way instead of going this way. So it's just as simple as that.
Let me ask you a different question then. Um, you've when we interacted first 3 years ago, you were more of a start with fundamentals kind of a trader.
Correct.
And
Mm-hmm.
now you've moved more to a balanced approach, or maybe even an approach that requires a lot more technical analysis.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, how did you make that transition? How did you learn? Where did you go to learn? Did you just pick it up? Is it that you went through a formal training? How did that happen?
So I think a lot, like a place like Twitter is very useful. I know it's a lot of noise at times, but if you follow the right people, you interact with the people on a personal level, you can get educated just off of that if you just are open to learning and adjusting. So in 2021, I didn't have a really good performance. I was like -8% in terms of P&L. And going from 2020, which was a great year, to a -8 in 2021, there had to be some adjustments made. So a lot of these people like Barrington Trade, Sean Baker, who's also on Twitter, interacting with these folks. There's other individuals I can't name, but like they would have these certain technical approaches
Yeah.
to it. They would be swing trading, but for a few days, or day trading for a couple of hours. And I would watch. I've always seen what they were doing on either on their timeline or even on their own page, and I just observed. I really just observed from day to day. I didn't really jump into it. I looked at it like an inside day. What happens? What's the stop loss on this? Is it 1 or 2%? Having, like, when you enter something, you should probably have a stop loss. When do you get out of this trade? Even though you lose money on it, it could get worse. when do you take the profit off of the table? So things like that. It took me so in January 2022, I had to start making concise rules, tighter rules like the stop losses, the profits. What is the setup of the why are you entering this? What's your entry? What's your exit? What kind of setup is this? Also, like later on, I did notice like what's the sector? Like basic materials or gold or silver, they're acting better. Or crude um, a really was really
Performing.
booming. Yeah, it was performing in 2022 at least in the earlier portion of the year. Agriculture stocks, very boring kind of tickers compared to like a Wayfair or an Etsy. But this kind of a just absorbing it from other people. There's other there's other people on Twitter, big accounts like Christian Fromhertz, Trading Tom, who are really they have some really good tweets. They have very good videos in terms of they're more I think options and swing trading and whatnot, a blend of both. So it's very resourceful if you use
Right.
Twitter
That's right.
in that way. I think there's a lot of gunk on Twitter, but if you look at the right places and you're open to those adjustments, uh, it might be beneficial for you. Like I could have in 2021, I had the -8, and I could have started the same playbook in 2022 as what I did in 2021, and I think it would have been really bad. Looking back on it, because I think SPY was a -20% or
Yeah.
something like that.
23.
Well, there you go. Whatever. It would have been really bad if I just kept going into the same playbook I did in 2021. So adjusting like that is very good. Being humble about it is really good, and that helped me out in 2022. 2022, I had a +2%, which is not good.
Yeah, but it's
Uh,
better than -30%, which was 2020 for most people.
for for
For a lot of
adjusting.
people, it was even 50% negative.
Yeah, I think but I think a lot of that has to do with adjusting, right? You don't have to fully adjust. Even if you try to, like, this was something novel for me. I think in swing trading, like I said, was pretty much a bulk of 2018 to at the end of 2021. Adjusting like that on the fly is always a risk. It's something you don't know about. If you're comfortable with something, you're not going to change what you are. But for me, I was kind of sick with the -8%, and I was like, man, I got to change something. So that's what I did, and that same playbook came this year as well. I think in January I was more focused on basic materials. The gains started getting a lot less. These inside days are engulfing bullishes for a couple of days, but like as long as you have a stop loss or a -1%, -2%, it keeps your mind healthy. It keeps your mind confident with what you're doing. Um, so I think that kind of a strategy helped out, and using Twitter, like I said, with those accounts, or even the interactions, like it's very resourceful. Even talking to you, very resourceful. Whether it's your personal, professional, whatever it is, these kind of
Yeah.
interactions help out a lot.
What about your brokerage? What brokerage do you use, and which is your favorite go-to charting platform?
So I use TradingView a lot, a lot. I use there's also a website called Finviz. I'm sure everybody
Yeah.
uses that. So I have a nice filter on it. It's like an average volume of 500K, relative volume of 0.
Screener. You put a screener for yourself.
Yeah, the screener. I'm sorry. Yeah, the screener on and Finviz, and I use the same screener every day. In terms of a brokerage, I use Chase U Invest. Clearly, regional banks are getting hit, so I am in the right place at the right time for this week. So that's the brokerage I use. But TradingView is great. I love the platform. You can look at like 100 tickers in about 30 minutes, or even less than that. But it's a great platform. I recommend everybody to use it. There's other platforms, obviously, that are better. I think I was using stock charts as well. They have some really good summaries of like market breadth and when things are oversold. So
The
those are
last time,
the
the last week, I did a complete 2 weeks ago, actually. I did a complete listing of 356 companies and websites that offer charting, graphing, news, analysis, 350 plus companies. and another 400 odd trading brokerage companies just in
Mhm.
stocks. So they don't do anything like crypto. Some of them may do crypto, but most of them are mostly in stock.
Mhm.
And the interesting part is I initially thought, man, everybody uses just one or two. Turns out most people use one, and that one changes from place to place, from person to person. Twitter is big on TradingView. If you go to
Yeah.
something like finance.yahoo.com is a lot of discussion forums. Most people there are on Yahoo charting. And then you go to StockTwits, most people there use this TrendSpider, a whole bunch of other people,
TrendSpider, yeah.
MarketSmith. I mean, there are so many of them that it's interesting to see. Everybody seems to gravitate to one that they are comfortable with. They know, they like, they understand. They're like, okay, I'm done. I'm not doing any.
Yeah.
I'm not doing any more of this.
If it's not broke, like no need to fix it, So I just got used to Trading View. I was using when I first started, I was using like stock charts, the daily and the weekly. And I started using Trading View really a lot more last year in 2022, especially if you're doing these technical way of doing it. I think Trading View has a better platform, but TrendSpider is a good one too. I think a lot of people use it on Twitter. So, but yeah, those are the places I use. And Finviz is a great resource. I think they have a great analysis on the bottom, like PE, average volume. I think Finviz, without Finviz, I don't know what I would do. Like having all that information all at once, even the scanner. I think
Yeah.
that's too.
Besides Twitter, do you use any other social investing platform? Are you
No,
on
I
TikTok?
don't
Are you a
use.
TikTok guy? Do you dance on TikTok?
No, I don't. I don't look at TikTok. Although they have some funny, like Meta had those, like when they, the day in the life of a Meta employee. Those are
Yeah,
entertaining. But I don't know if I would use TikTok
TikTok.
for
There was one
stock advice.
I remember from a year ago, Jim, and I think there was a meme being passed on Twitter for a little bit. This TikTok, two people, a guy and a girl, and the guy's like, "Oh, basically, I buy the stock here, and when it keeps going up, I hold it. When it goes down, I sell it. It's that easy." I'm like, "Wow, that
Yeah,
guy's
yeah,
so
yeah.
genius. What are we doing? We're wasting our time doing all the other stuff."
That's why TikTok is very you can go through like 100 videos 10 seconds each and you still have a whole day to
Yeah.
search another 100. So yeah, I don't
So
use
do you follow any of the macro trends as well? Do you look at, okay, the interest rates are going up pretty significantly. That might mean it will probably get a little bit more, if you will, choppy. Do you do any macro level thinking and investing before you go to it?
so I try to when I try to during like the week I look for CPI and PPI indicators or what the number would be for FOMC if they're going to raise the interest rates. So I do look at it more frequently, and I started doing that a lot more in 2022. It's helped me out a lot in terms of my trading because if you know like a bad report's going to come out, you basically have to um, pause the trading for a day or two and just let the noise clear and then go forward. Like this week, right off the bat, I think there was CPI, PPI. There was the ECB yesterday morning, which really spooked the market. And
And of
then
course, there's Credit Suisse. You remember that?
Credit Suisse, yeah. I'm not. I'm even. See, I'm botching. The news goes so fast that it's crazy. The regional bank stuff, yes, the noise of that. But that's not something like I go to Market Watch. They have the economic calendars. They never have the information about Credit Suisse.
Yeah,
Right.
SVB is going to go down. Where is that on the news calendar?
Yeah. So regional banks, I had a good trade this week, but like it was very choppy. Like it was all over the place. So I try to stay away from that stuff. But next week we have FOMC. So I think like my focus, if I was going to enter something, was today. It was mostly in the metal space, like silver or gold. And I don't think I wasn't going to looking at any other sector besides that because I think with FOMC it was a lot more. Uh, Next week is going to be a lot more volatile. Even today, it was options expirations quad witching today, so it was choppy. So it's been a tough, I think, 2 weeks from of March.
It's
So
been a tough year and a half. It's been a tough year and a half.
so I look at trading like I think I got this from Christian Fromhertz actually. You got to look at it every month as a fresh P&L.
Yeah.
So this way
So you look at it on a monthly basis. Okay.
yeah, because then this way, like for example, like I think for the month of let me look at my yeah, for the month of January, like I had 27 trades, right? And you have a P&L right there, right? So you had a good month. So my confidence is up. February, I got absolutely whacked. I had an aluminum trade, which I didn't have a stop loss on, and it went like -8%. So the whole month, I'm just holding this one aluminum trade, trying to wait for and hoping it for it to go like up. It never did. And I ended up selling it for a -8. And that impacted
Yeah.
significant on my February P&L.
Jan and Feb. It impacts. In fact, it impacts both months.
Yeah, like the year to date overall. So like if I had, I think January I was 14%, but then February was like -7.5. So if you look at the year to date for that, it was like overall I was like 6%. So having those stop losses are huge in a sense. But sometimes I just, like when you have, for me personally, I think if I had a really good January, right, and I'm like, wow, this is great, and then for me to stay focused in February, I can't have a trade like that aluminum trade go south. I have to cut the loss immediately. But sometimes I have, bad judgment. I don't use my rules, but it's always good to use the rules that you have that made you like that helped you out in 2022. And I just didn't do a good job of that specific trade. But I think it's more so because of that confidence in January, but then humble pie in February. So
Yeah. No, I think all of us go through humble pie very frequently. That's what keeps us humble throughout the whole
yeah,
story. Right? There's never been a month where I'm going, I don't think I know what I'm doing. And there have
yeah.
been minutes where I'm like, I'm top of the world. That's the problem, right? A few minutes you feel on top of the world because you did a couple of good trades. And then the
Mhm.
rest of the month you're like, what the hell am I doing? Do I even know what I'm doing? Why am I doing this?
Yeah, and then that's exactly what happened. And then like this month, I think like I came in with a lot better risk management per se, and but it's been like I said, it's been very like a lot of base hits. Like you're taking 0.5% off, you're taking 1% stop losses. Like I think the two trades I had this month that were really good was a regional bank in Long Island called NYCB. I
Hmm.
took it 13%, and a company called I think it's a Chinese electrical vehicle company called LI.
Yeah, Lee Auto.
So those are my two big gains. So like even though I only have 9 wins and 10 losses, those two make up a bulk of my March gain, which is very depressing because I've had like I think 17 trades and 10 of them have gone south. But luckily I've taken I think an average of I'm trying to look at my I think an average loss of 1.4%, minus 1.4%, an average gain of 2.6. But those two,
That's what makes it up.
yeah, and like the rest of the way, now I'm just baby. Like I think we have, I think 2 more weeks of trade, like 10 more sessions, right? So the rest of the way, I'm just trying to, if I enter something, I'm not trying to play hero ball or anything. I'm just trying to play conservative. I usually cut my position sizing and whatnot, and just try to go out with the victory to rebound from my poor performance in February. So I look at it as 12 trading sessions in a year. It keeps you fresh. If you do it as a whole year P&L, it just makes you, I think
Absolutely.
a lot of emotion gets involved.
Awesome, Jim. This was great talking to you. It was a terrific session. I'm glad we kicked things off with you. This is going to be our first one, and hopefully I'm going to do at least 2 or 3 of these every week.
Yeah, hopefully this one really well. Hopefully it goes well. And thank you for having me.
Thank you, Jim.